it's weird because sometimes these comments and you can't switch off. Like, there's a kind of an element of addiction. Adam, my husband's like, come and have dinner. I'm like, someone's just attacking me on Twitter. I can't. It's like, it's all the more reason to just switch off. I'm a writer, a speaker, appearance activist, disability activist. I think activist is a really scary word for some people. I think there's a view that we're troublemakers, and to an extent we are. I was saying to a friend the other day that what I do is quite outwardly angry, but I'm not really angry, but I think we have to get angry at these issues to create change. So I've been writing online for about, a long time, since 2001. I had a blog when I was at uni, when I was 19. I think my first online pitch was Daily Life, and I've been writing for them for 4 years now, which is great. And SBS and ABC. And then through these writing opportunities, other things happen, like speaking and presenting and teaching, which is really great. I think the more you tell your story, the more courage you get. But then to a certain point, there's things that now with my profile I wouldn't dare talk about, because you just get so much backlash. I really believe that telling my story helps other people to tell their story, be it if they have a facial difference or a disability, but it doesn't mean that they have to tell their story publicly. It could just mean that they've hidden their condition from their partner, or which happens, or friends or whatever, and then they just say that because of Carly, I can tell my story to a friend or to the media or whatever, which is good. I took ages to put my photo out there online because I thought that it would be misused, and it did get misused. It got misused on 2 different websites. The first time was sort of probably in 2010, maybe 2011, and I just found it through a backlink to my blog. And the second time was much worse. It was on Reddit, on the What the Fuck forum, and I've talked about it a lot elsewhere, but just in summary, someone had found my photo and put it on a What the Fuck forum on Reddit, and I woke up to hundreds of comments just dissecting my appearance. I think when you go viral, you're out of control and you don't know how to stop it. You can't influence the way your story's told. I really worry when these things happen to people that can't cope with it. So, I was really lucky to have really supportive parents, but they didn't see the kind of abuse that I was copying on the other side of it. My husband, or then boyfriend, was moderating my blog comments because they were just so awful, telling me I should be killed. And, the most recent thing that happened was I went out with a friend. She was at doing a comedy festival show. We took a photo of ourselves, or I took a photo, put it online. So I thought we both looked pretty fabulous, and in the morning, I woke up to this message on Instagram to say, you should both go get plastic surgery and take another photo when you look more attractive. My Instagram's public, and the comment was public, so I screenshot the comment, put it below the photo that was taken, and tagged the person in. And they were really shitting themselves, I think. They were making excuses like, I'm such a nice guy, I've never done this before, I volunteer with people with special needs. On a lesser scale, not so much bullying, there's an expectation that I'll be something more than I can give. So I've had people want me to diagnose them, and they really want a lot of my time, like, oh God, Carly, I've seen your post, I think I might have ichthyosis, they've probably got eczema or something, and they want me to diagnose them. And then I said, look, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a psychologist, you have to go and see your own professional support. And then there are people that just disagree, and then they do this flounce, and then I will spend a lot of time trying to educate them gently, and then they'll delete their post, so then that's my energy wasted. When You Can't Ask That came out on the ABC, one person said that my face should come with a content warning, and another person asked me this question, and they said, oh look, I want to know, how do we react to someone that looks like you? And I said, look, I don't really have time today, I've got some media stuff on, but here are 3 articles that I've written that you can read. And they just kept on going on and on and on. And then at the end of the day, they said, oh, but Carly's story would be more powerful if she told stories of broader issues. And I said, you clearly haven't read any of my work past this article. I said, if you don't like it, fuck off. They were just constant. Anyway, so then someone else said, I'm not shocked by your face, but I'm shocked by your language. And so there's this expectation that I'm constantly going to be polite and just, so there's that. I think that when Reddit happened to me, they were very... privately, they were apologising. The moderators were apologising. Publicly, they did nothing. So they said, oh, sorry, your image is now hosted by Imager, so we can't do anything about it. I'm like, but you can. You can stop it. You can have better guidelines. You can have better punishment even. So I think Facebook and Twitter should take more of responsibility in creating that safe space. It's really hard. Like, if you report something, it doesn't breach community standards. People have no control over how their photos are used. Stella Young, who was a great person, we miss her a lot. She passed away in 2014. She coined a term, inspiration porn, and it means the objectification of people with disabilities. But it's not only about disability, it's, the way we tell refugee stories or older people's stories. It's driven a lot by social media. It's the memes that say, that have a picture of a child with a disability, and then there's a text like, what's your excuse, or the only disability in life's a bad attitude. So when people see those, they think, oh, if their life's that bad, mine's all right. So they kind of set the tone that people with disabilities are heroes or tragic or should be pitied. There's also, pity porn, and I guess that was what my photo got used with on the internet. I find it really, really problematic that it shapes the way people see people with disabilities so much. Well, the intent's really lovely. This is a really othering post. Like, you're thinking that this person must have a really bad life because they've got a facial difference. And you're posting it in a group of 2,500 people, which, has their permission been sought? Do they know that they're being spoken about in this way? While it's all kind words, it's not, So I think that editors and producers of events really need to give marginalised, different, diverse people the space to tell our stories. And that might be from giving more than 600 words to write a really complex article, as I have to do today, to providing, accessible areas for people to tell their stories. So I think places like the Emerging Writers Festival, Melbourne Writers Festival, include so many diverse people, which is great. But then you see other festivals and stuff that don't have diverse people on the panel, or often disabilities an afterthought, I think. It's not only important for non-disabled people to see our stories, but it's really important for disabled people to see our stories, to feel like we matter, that we have a voice, that we can exist in the media or advertising world or whatever. The other day I did a lecture at the university, and a lady came up to me and said, a student said, I've got a medical condition, how can I find people like me? I said, well, lots of Facebook groups, but also just use hashtags on Instagram. I know that sounds really silly, but I found lots of people with my condition through that. I know I've probably harped on about the negative experiences, but there's been so many positive experiences. Like in 2015, I did Australia's first ichthyosis meet, where I brought together 75 people. 25 of those have ichthyosis, and that was due to social media. People hadn't met others with the condition before, and so we all came together at the zoo in Melbourne and met. There's that. It's just amazing. People said that it was their best day of their life. It was certainly, one of the best days of mine. There's the career opportunities. Writing. I didn't ever think I'd be writing for the ABC or, The Guardian. So that's pretty amazing to be able to do that. I think I'm proud of finding pride, like finding disability pride, and for becoming a person that I needed when I was younger. I think that's a good thing. I think on a real personal level, like away from activism, I'm such a fangirl, and the way we can talk to our idols. And I think in a way, and I don't want to sound conceited, I think people are, when they contact me, they might see me in the same way as I see some of my, my idols, which is really, really flattering. So that access, the lovely emails that I get are really, really nice. And I do keep them to remind myself about why I do it.